Okay. That I wasn't expecting. It seems there's even more than what he's letting on in that crazy head of his. Talking about me being in his way. I don't even know the bastard. But crazy or not, he's willing to lay down his life that this little process isn't gonna do me in. He wants his end of the bargain. The carrot at the end of the road. In order to get what he wants, I have to win the Black Label races. That means he has no choice but to be on my side. And if I die before completing them, he doesn't get his carrot. I thought to myself, glaring back at him, mad or not, he has good reason to hold to the deal, and enough faith that the process won't kill me to put his own life on the line. Okay, Doc, I said, extending my hand out. A deal. He scowled at me a bit before extending his hand and clasping it with mine. Then it's settled. A bargain struck. So, I shall follow you to your place of residence. I don't know where it is, so you're going to have to lead the way. Okay, but what are you going to be following me in? I didn't see another car parked out there, I asked as I took my hand back. Don't worry about it. I have my own means of transportation. Just go hop on your little motorcycle, and I'll meet you shortly. Without much hesitation, I left the room with Emily, walking back out into the front yard, I suppose. Ugh, I am so glad that's over with. That bastard creeps me out. That power thing was kind of an interesting twist. I suppose he might have been some sort of powerful figure in the time after the Great War, and somehow it all collapsed in on him, leaving him with jack shit. But somebody's offered him some political power or stance. Perhaps a position within the walls, if he gets me in there with him. It still leaves a lot of things to question, I thought, as I hopped on my motorcycle, putting on my helmet and turning it on. But as long as he gets me past the walls, I suppose I can handle any trouble from there. It's a bridge I'll have to cross when I come to it. But if one thing's for sure, I still don't trust that bastard. We were outside for a few minutes waiting. I started to wonder if he was pulling my chain, before I started to hear a rumbling sound, like there was an earthquake starting. Just a small one, but I could feel it in the ground. But it kept getting more intense. A heavier rumbling, more and more as the seconds ticked by. And before I realized it, about 30 feet away from us, still in the driveway, the ground shatters upward. Stone and debris start to roll off as a large metallic form burrows its way off from under the ground. A massive amount of shiny steel, perfectly polished except with dirt all over it. Scuffs and scrapes from digging around underground. A system of overlapping steel plates. And what looked like arms and legs began to crawl their way out of the ground. Emily pulled her gun without even thinking about it, and I was right behind her. There we stood, aiming our guns at this massive metallic thing crawling out of the ground. What looked like some sort of inverted drill on the end of it, like an endless series of whirling teeth, pulling whatever was in front of it into it, grinding it up into dust and spitting it back out. I suppose that was how it drilled around, getting around under the dirt. As it pulled itself up, it must have been at least 40 foot long. This thing was freaking massive. the size of a goddamn tank, but seemingly modeled after some sort of living thing. But if it was modeled after something that was alive, I definitely wouldn't want to see it. Its legs weren't very long. They were bulky, but had massive talons at the end of them. Razor-sharp steel claws digging into the ground as it pulled itself out, like some sort of massively oversized crocodile with an exceptionally long tail to go with it. And just as I expected this whole thing to break out into a death battle, some of the metal plates started to shift, revealing what appeared to be a hatch on the side. And just like that, it opened up, popping out none other than the doctor. Well, it's been a while since I've taken Chompas out for a spin, but I think it's about time to get some fresh air. You've gotta be fucking kidding me. What the hell is that? Oh, this is Mr. Chompas. He's my mode of transportation. You're fucking with me, right? I mean, seriously, you're gonna follow me in that. How? Oh, don't worry about it. It's very simple stuff, really. I just have to switch him to topside mode, so to speak. He rolls around on treads when he's up top. It's much faster that way. But he was incredibly helpful in building this little home away from home. So, my bags are all packed and inside. Everything seems to be to order. All that's left is for you to lead the way. After you, Mr. Jax. I breathed deeply for a moment. Freaking guy almost gave me a heart attack. He definitely could have warned me about that crap. Emily hesitantly put her gun away too. Ugh, this is way too much day. I cannot wait until this crap is over. Who the hell would even build something like that? I suppose only him. But after a moment of calming down, and the doctor hopping back in his massive metallic creature, he apparently must have done something, because soon afterwards, the legs retracted into its form, and just as he said, a set of long tank-like treads emerged from beneath it, from more shifting plates. I hope that thing can actually move at a decent pace. I'd like to get back home sometime in the next century, I thought to myself. But, however weird it was, at least it meant things were underway. And with that, we began the journey home. Surprisingly enough, that tank monstrosity actually moved fairly quickly. I mean, it wasn't a racer by any means, but it had some fair speed, so I wasn't moving at a turtle's pace. But we weren't moving at max speed either. Altogether, it took us another 2 days of travel to get back, having to stop and take rests. The doctor, of course, parking his vehicle outside of town, having it burrow underground. Apparently, he had programmed it so that he could give it commands even when he wasn't inside of it. He would simply order it to burrow itself away, and it would, and he would just walk the rest of the way into town. And the next day, it would simply be waiting for him. But finally, lo and behold, we made it back home to that old steel mill. I arrived to find, well, quite the hustle going on outside of my house. It appeared Danny was already beginning to make himself at home. I saw a number of goons outside, running around. It looked like they were hooking up cables, setting up generators, workshop tables. And that was only on the outside. The chances are, if he's setting up things on the outside like that, He probably has stuff going on inside as well.